Welcome back to From Nine to Mom.
Where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos that we call motherhood. And today we are coming back from a long weekend. And Katie, you had a big milestone birthday. Calvin turned
Yeah.
1. Tell us all about the party. How did it go? How did you feel?
Gosh,
Highlight reel.
I don't even know how we're talking about this because when we started the podcast, like he was an infant. Like it's weird that we're talking about this already. But yeah, it was good. We planned the big Memorial Day themed birthday party. We didn't do any cute theme. It was just
I
Memorial
thought it was
Day.
adorable.
Don't you feel like I felt a little guilty? Like Jack, it was like his rookie year, all the baseball.
I do remember that. The cookies, though, made up for it. Those
Oh
cookies
my
were
gosh.
phenomenal that you
So
made.
great. And so it was all great. So we had it Saturday. Of course, it torrentially downpoured literally, Danielle, I'm telling you, the party was from 2 to 5 and it torrential thunderstorms during this party time. 5
Did you
p.m.
have
literally,
like 30 people there?
yeah, in my house. Like
That's
not a
great.
big house. And
That's wonderful.
literally clock strikes 5 p.m. sun. Literally, we're joking. We're like, can everyone leave so the sun can come out? Like, it was hilarious, but it ended up being great. Like the kids played inside. We had tons of toys inside, so it was fine. But like, of course we borrowed a friend's bigger bounce house. We had all of our toys outside. Ryan and I had the 2 days off before the party to like do our yard work, mulch, mow the lawn.
Yeah, I remember when I talked to you, you were like, "Oh, I'm in the middle of mulching. I'll get back to you."
Yeah, like I went and got all my like everything done, and then it downpours and no
Here's
one
the
saw
thing,
any of
though.
it.
It sucks that it downpoured, but you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have had the push to do it if you weren't
I
having
know.
the party. So, slight blessing in disguise.
Right.
Everything went well. It looked like Kelvin had a great time, and
He did.
baby Jack, who's not the baby
I know.
anymore, but looked like he
I
was
know.
being such a good big brother.
He was. We did the smash cake, of course, and anyone that knows Calvin, he's a little psycho. And we were like, he's going to wreck this cake. And he was just staring at everyone. He's like, who are all these people? So I finally like took the cake and cut it in half. Jack's like picking up pieces and shoving it in Cal's mouth. And then he got after it. He could have polished the cake off for sure.
Oh, the video you sent me, he was inhaling that thing.
Yeah, it was like he was about to be halfway done with it. And we're like, when do we take it away? But all in all, you kind of got to go with the flow. And we had a successful party. And
what were your favorite gifts?
Oh, good point. It's hard. First birthdays are so hard to buy.
I think they're super hard.
I appreciated any of the clothes that we got because he's off size from Jack, and by their first birthday they are out of clothes. Like the baby shower clothes have worn off. Like for the first kid especially.
It's part of the gift.
Yay. So I like getting the clothes, of course, but like those are like necessity. There was one really cool Lego train set. It's like the big Legos.
Oh,
so
the
it's not like little
set?
Yeah.
I loved that thing.
Yeah, they loved it.
That's a cool gift.
Jack's playing with he thinks they're all his toys. And so he really liked that. One of the gifts that we got him was it's a sand table, but it's like a standing one. It's not like a sand pit for the floor, and we're not using sand. We're just putting water in it. And I got those the automatic fish that go around.
Oh, that's fun.
Those are like they were mesmerized by the fit. It looks like real fish going around.
Maybe I need those because we have tadpoles right now, and Daisy babies and wants to pet these little tadpoles. Maybe like fake fish will be good.
I think people like put these in their tanks and say they're their pets, and like the kids don't know any different.
This is genius with all the death in my house with these fish. Yeah, I'm going for it.
I'm going to send them to you.
Send them to me.
Because they are like mesmerized by them. They're a little pricier than I would like pay for a toy per se, but they're a hit. Jack put them in the pool on Sunday. Like we had a little blow up pool and Jack had them in the pool playing with them. So yeah, the sand table is working better. I've just tried so many water tables and I don't know if like Jack's just a super rough kid, but like all of them, he leans on them and they all like crumble when they do that.
Yeah,
I feel like
they didn't last for Colton either. We ended like Tupperware containers or baby pools, or
like
whatever.
That's the way to go. So like this ended up being great. And it's like perfect height for Cal because he's standing at stuff and like doing that. So that was good. He loves like the sensory of the water and splashing and stuff. So
don't blame him.
Yeah, those were the highlights for sure. And then he got one of those sinks that has the running water. Um,
So you
that's
wash
always,
dishes, like teach
yeah,
them to be good human beings,
yeah,
good
life
adult
skills,
men
life skills.
in advance. I love that.
Yeah. But so he made out really well. He's a lucky little boy, and he got some of his own books finally because we turns out he has no books, they're all Jack's, so he got a couple books for his collection. So
See, that's nice that he can put his
yeah,
claim on them. We deal with that in our house too.
yeah. I'm
But
like, Jack, this isn't. We share everything. No, they're mine. Okay,
oh yeah,
okay.
everything is Colton's.
Yeah,
Just like everything's probably Jack's. But
the whole house belongs to him.
so a whole bunch of new toys for Jack, even though they're for
That's
Calvin.
what he thinks. Jack opened all of them, so it didn't matter.
Good for him
But
because next year won't be the same. How are you feeling with the 1-year-old birthday?
I know
Last
it's so
last
sad.
kid, we think. How are we
Right.
feeling about it?
Quotation marks. Um, I was a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really get emotional like about much stuff. I mean, Ryan probably would be like, "You're a liar," but yeah, I took. So his actual birthday was Tuesday. I took off work, and that's why we ran the poll of like, do you take off work? Do you not for kids' birthdays? I don't like know how I'll do it moving forward. Like, I probably will send them to their school. Like, they're gonna go to school and do that for their birthdays. Cal might get lucky, and it might fall on Memorial Day here and there.
Yeah.
Um,
What was the
but
poll results? What did they like? What were most people?
so the questions, let's see. I did if you take off for your kid's birthday, 36% said they do.
Okay.
And then 29% said I've never done it, never taken off. And then another 29% said depends. So I'm sure people are feeling like how I did. Like, I might sometimes, it might not be an every year thing.
Yeah, I definitely haven't taken it off every year. I don't know if I've ever taken their birthday off, but Daisy's was on New Year's Day, and her
Yeah.
being the last baby, I do think I would have taken it
Yeah.
off. There's just like this weird emotional, I
It
can't believe this is
is.
happening thing.
Yeah.
So I think I would have taken it off. And then I recently just took off for Colton's kindergarten graduation. I took the whole day
Yep.
because I was not kindergarten, moving up to kindergarten graduation.
Yes.
I'm not skipping grades, even though my dad posted that
That's where our
picture
brains are.
saying that Colton was moving from pre-K into first grade. And all my friends text me saying, Danielle, Colton's skipping kindergarten. I'm like, kid can't count to 20. Definitely not skipping kindergarten. But regardless, I took off, and I'm so glad I did because I was feeling emotional about it.
Yeah.
We went to this. It was definitely worth it, but I know that not every single person has the luxury of being able to take off at these occasions, and that would have to be like, I know you texted me and said I would have been a mess if I was working today. And it's dumb because neither of us is super emotional in that regard. So the fact that we're both so emotional about these second babies is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not even like I was sitting home crying all day. I was just like reflecting and being like, wow, like what happened? And then it doesn't help that like this part of the year, literally we went over last week. I had my 1 year follow-up of my OB appointment and like just to revisit all the trauma of him. And then literally like can't make it up on his birthday. Ryan gets the call from his doctor. Reminder that you have a consultation appointment next week. And
when you're in the feels, that's not the call that you want to hear.
He texts me and he goes, "Oh, I just got my reminder for the appointment." And I'm like, "Oh my God." But I'm like, "Katie, it's a consult. Like, we don't even know yet." But like, it was just a lot. And then I was like, revisiting like all the stuff we've been through in the last year. And it's just like, how have we lived this much life?
That it's crazy when you look back at how quickly a year can go by.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that when that 1 year mark hits, you don't have a baby anymore in your head. And it's always, how long are you going to say 15 months, 16 months? It's like, Daisy's almost 1.5 years. Okay, I'm going to have to say 1.5 years. And you have to come to grips. And I think that even myself, when it came to that phone call, the vasectomy phone call, I was very upset. I wasn't ready for it. But I think what we forget, and I know this is kind of a tangent, but our husbands have been through a totally different experience. Please don't get me wrong. I know that what we do is very different than what they do. But for both of us, we both had really tough pregnancies and labors. You specifically this last one. Most people probably don't know this on here, and I'm sorry to blow up your space, but that's what a podcast is for. Katie got rushed to the ER for emergency surgery, had an emergency C-section. You know, they had no time to prep. Ryan's sitting there thinking Katie's going to die. You know,
Right.
he thought you were dying and he didn't know what was going to happen to you or the baby. And I think we forget about the trauma. Like Jordan watched me go through 6 failed epidurals and 36 hours of, labor with a kid in the NICU. It's just they get their own stuff and we forget because we're in our moment and our feels. Like we carried the baby for 9 months and we cared for it and we did all these things. And that phone call is a tough phone call or that meeting is a tough meeting. But I do think that we forget about what our husbands might have gone through.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like after the second kid, it is so different to have the conversation of a third one, especially when you've had difficult times, because they are probably sitting there like, you're fucking insane. You want to have another one? Like, do you know what just happened? Like, what?
Jordan said he'd rather fall down the stairs, like be pushed down the stairs and have to endure another labor with me. It's like, great. Thank you. Thank you.
I think Ryan probably feels that way about the pregnancy. And I'm also like, how the hell is Ryan going to take care of 2 kids while I'm pregnant again? Like, how would that even work?
People do it, but I just don't know how they do it. And yours are so little. I think that if you waited, my mom had a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and then an infant. Me and Joe could help with that kid. Then again, you're starting all over again, like kind of nuts. He
That's
was
where
definitely
like
no
part
shit
of me is
baby,
like,
but
you sit in this point of like, I miss the cuddles. It was so easy back then. They didn't move you like you think that when you get the further along you get. But then I'm also like, I like that I sleep.
yeah. I
I
don't
like
sleep,
that,
but
you know,
I get how you
but
feel.
like most kids. And I'm like, I'm glad we're out of that part. Like, but it's also, you don't like, it's a, constant battle of back and forth. But I think it's a great point about our husbands. They're just looking at us like we're insane for even thinking about it. But we definitely feel after this birthday, like I feel very complete with our family and like that part, I think.
I think though taking that time for the experience and to yourself helps the process. That's even how I felt about I'm taking Colton's first day of
My notice.
kindergarten off. Put it in there. And me and another mom are gonna go to the spa and drink mimosas while they're at school. We're the 2 emotional moms, like the ones that were like cheering for our kids at the preschool graduation, like crazy people. We're on the phone at 6 a.m. trying to log in for everything. So she and I are going to go do that. And I think it'll be a really nice way to celebrate the day. And I'm not going to be present on that day at work anyways. Obviously, if there's an emergency or something crazy happens, I would work. But I'm planning on doing this on that day just so I could accept it, let the emotions run through, and then move on and be present.
And I think that's a good point of like, we're very fortunate that we can take off the time for it. And I know not as many people are, but it definitely helps our mental health to be able to take that. Like I was able to like enjoy all the moments, getting our house all like doing all that. And now I have no regrets about time. I'm paying for it now with work for sure.
Yes, of course.
To catch up. But and I'm sure everyone can tell by our rambling, we just came off a webinar and back-to-back meetings, but like we're just trying to make it happen. And
I think as these milestones come up, and what I don't even know what we consider big milestones anymore. So one of my friends from New York, my best friend from New York, called me and she's like, or she texted me, excuse me, we don't talk anymore. All we ever do is send each other memes on Instagram, which then I screen recorded our conversations, which is all just memes on Instagram. She's like, what is going on with all these graduations in the South? Because we graduate for like, there's a preschool, there's kindergarten, first grade graduations. There's a graduation. If these kids breathe, there's a celebration.
They're getting a medal.
A medal for breathing. And I don't think that it's reasonable to say like, oh, I'm going to take off every graduation because that's a little insane. She's like, I'm so glad we don't do that here. I'm like, I know. But
I know it's such a hard thing because like that's been one of my goals like since becoming a mom is I don't want to miss any events because of work, and was a big impact in my decision of where to work and what I wanted out of my job. Because like I don't no, I know no one wants to, but like when the sports events come up and like that stuff, I don't want to miss any of it. But it's a lot of time to take off if they've got a game every Tuesday at 4. Like it's tough.
Well, and a lot of times we don't get to pick when the sports stuff is,
Right.
but then you choose the weekend because you're like, oh, then I don't have to work. But we're busy every weekend. So it just changes everything that much more. But I do think when time off is limited, which it is, and we've talked about this before, picking and choosing how to spend that time is important. But also, I do think that if you know you're going to react a certain way
Hmm.
in a special moment, you might as well enjoy it. It's not happening again, that last baby. It's just once it's
Right.
done, it's done. So you just doing that, like you said, is good for your mental health. So if you can do it, I would highly suggest doing it for those big occasions.
Yeah. And do what you think you need. Right. Like if you are somebody that's going to need that time, or, if you're someone that's doesn't, that's fine.
Some people are like, bye. And that's okay too. Like
Yeah.
I saw, there's so many different personas online, right? Of people who are like, get these kids out of here. I don't have enough time with my kids. And I think that's the common
Yeah.
struggle for all of us is if you're a working mom and you enjoy it, again, you feel guilty that you enjoy being at work.
Right.
If you're a
Right.
working mom and you're not with your kids, you feel guilty that you're not with your kids. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you want to chuck your kids in the river sometimes because you don't get a break. Imagine never, ever, ever getting a
Yeah.
break. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of feelings and emotions, but I'm glad that the birthday party went well for you. Sometimes they don't
Yeah. I
go
mean,
as planned. So I'm glad that it
never
went.
does. It can't, and I think that's what everyone should take away. You plan, and then whoever's in control shits on your plan.
Yeah. The universe is like, sorry, guys.
No, you want to play
Or
on the
maybe
bounce
there was
house?
a
Too bad.
reason. You got to think of like the universe and
Right?
karma. They didn't want you outside because someone was going to slip and fall.
It could have
And
been.
then, they
It,
protected you against whatever it was. You just,
we'll go with that.
my mind trying to spin it in some
Optimistic way.
optimistic situation, even though in those moments, sometimes it's hard to find
Yeah,
optimism. Like my
it
hangover
is.
the day after Daisy's birthday, it was hard to find optimism in that
Yeah,
moment.
that's a rough go. That is a rough
But
go.
yeah,
We all
it's
do it though.
yeah. And I think basically for us, as we discuss this random assortment of birthdays, best presents, vasectomies, emotions, and milestones, we're just in the thick of it right now as we head into summer. And I know that most of you listening, we usually have a very clear topic. We apologize. This wasn't a clear topic, but also you're welcome. It might make you feel a little more sane in your thoughts because
Yeah.
none of us really think linear anymore. But yeah, we have some exciting stuff coming up for the
Yeah.
podcast, some partnerships and collabs.
Yeah, we're looking forward to June and getting some cool stuff recorded and sending it your guys' way. So I think
So,
for right now, time to clock out.
and clock back into the 9 to 5. See you in June, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.